But first, let's talk about universities. There was a good piece by a friend of mine in the Telegraph this week, Celia Warden, saying, "Forget about universities. We have lost them. They've become woke hellholes where the snowflake students don't want to know about anything that they don't agree with. They're not interested in debate. They no platform visiting speakers because their safe spaces must be preserved. And indeed, there is now no point in going to university because they probably do more harm than good to the younger generation." I want to talk now to a man who went to the best university of all, Oxford, although I'm not sure it still is, James Delingpole from the Spectator magazine. Hello, James.
Hello, Kevin. You're absolutely right. I used to feel really proud to have gone to Oxford, and I don't anymore. I feel slightly embarrassed by it now. It's just gone completely to pot. And as have most universities. I think it's really sad that formative moment in the life of somebody who's suited to university, and I think that's an important distinction to make. I think Tony Blair completely ruined the system by insisting that 50% of the young population went to university. Mm-hmm. I think it should be. I think it should be much more of an elitist activity. But that kind of polishing, that intellectual polishing experience that generations of people have had, going to university, studying something in detail and really refining their thinking, that process has now almost been lost to history. I think universities are now madrassas for woke stupidity. The kids don't learn very much of any use because they're learning crap about identity politics and gender and guilt and snowflakery and all the things that we're seeing spilling out onto the streets in the BLM protests.
Yeah, when I went to university, everybody was amazed I managed to get in, but only 2% of kids went to university, now I think it's way over 50% now go, and then they go and study things like media studies and film production, and then they're shocked when they come out that they can't get a job. But I do think that the most depressing spectacle is a place like Oxford. I mean, what are the university authorities there thinking that they allow these kids to make themselves institutionally stupid, to ban people from speaking if they don't agree with them? That's not a university. You're supposed to encourage a diverse set of opinions. Why don't the authorities at Oxford do something about it?
Well, things have changed an awful lot, Kevin. When I was at university, there was very much a feeling that it was like a version of school. That as an undergraduate, you were like a school child, albeit a mature, sexing, drugging school child, and well, in some cases.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I heard about it when I was at university. I heard that some people did take drugs. Yeah,
but the university authorities were the boss. And so you had college porters in their bowler hats enforcing discipline. And if you were naughty, you went up, you reported to the senior censor who would discipline you, and so forth. It was like being called into the headmaster's office. And it was very clear that you were a scrotty, spotty undergraduate there to learn stuff, and the grown-ups were in charge. Doesn't happen anymore. Now it's the students, the grotty students who are in charge. And it's because universities are a racket. They are terrified of losing their scamster funding for their worthless degrees. And so they suck up to the students, because what the students will do if they're not feeling they're getting value for money is they start whinging about it. So the relationship between students and the universities has completely changed for the worst. And then of course, you've got the other problem is that all the professors now, all the academics, you used to get a mix of conservatives. I mean, not many conservatives, but at least some. Now they're almost all doctrinaire left voting, and so they will only recruit further, professors and stuff with the same politics. So they have now lost all the intellectual diversity, which, after all, is surely the main point of going to university, to encounter lots of different viewpoints.
Absolutely. You've got kids, haven't you, James?
My kids have been lucky. They've gone to Durham.
Okay.
And Durham is, I would say, a bit like Oxford and Cambridge used to be. It's probably the closest. I mean, I find Oxford and Cambridge insufferably woke. Whereas,
yeah. By the way, if I could just interrupt you, did you see the craziness of what Cambridge did? You know, this reacting to this accursed coronavirus crisis, which the entire nation is clearly overreacting to as well. But Cambridge immediately announced we won't be opening again until the summer of 2021. They're going to close the entire place, and everyone will have to do their lectures on by Zoom and things like that. And then they were stunned that everybody stopped applying to go. So they asked the government for money to help them out. The government told them where to stick it, quite rightly.
Yeah, well, there you have it. That they have a university which is more interested in woke virtue signalling than it is in actually its core function, or its original core function of teaching undergraduates and broadening their minds and helping postgraduates discover exciting new things. All that is gone. There are tiny little pockets of oases of truth and beauty in a desert of crapness. And I think I like going back to Durham. It seems to be a still sort of fairly found place. I mean, my kids who'd been denied last term, the summer term was taken away.
I know a lot of kids at university. It's been tragic what's happened to them. You know, this is supposed to be the best fun of their lives, and they're all sitting at home looking at Zoom.
Yes, so they went back to because they all have to rent houses, and regardless of whether term's happening or not, they still have to pay the rent. So quite a lot of them went up there and had a kind of mini summer term without the learning, which was nice. And I hope that they're going to ignore all the stupid strictures that are going to be imposed about masks and social distancing and nonsense, because students should be, working, taking drugs, having sex with one another, partying. I mean, that's the job. That's the point, isn't it?
I think we have to, James, announce that no students mustn't take drugs. They should be having having fun, though. I totally agree, and we all know what that means. Let's talk about this again. We're running out of time now, but I do think that the university system is in big trouble, and more and more parents. You've been lucky, but more and more parents are going to think, I'm not sending my kids to these places. They're actually damaging them. They're turning them into statue-hating morons. So let's talk again about this. Good to talk to you now. And by the way, happy birthday for the other day. That was James Delingpole from Oxford graduate from the Spectator magazine about the demise of our universities.